Hello. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening. Good evening, tribe. This is a new year, a new beginning, a new journey. And I want to, if anyone wants to join, normally we do these on Zoom every month, but I want everyone to have an opportunity to join online through Facebook, as well as YouTube. So there is a link that I will put in the chat. So if anyone wants to join, feel free to do that. And it's funny because I did not realize that the game was on tonight, the championship game. I completely forgot. Who are you all rooting for tonight to win? It's been on for about 30 minutes or so now. Who do y'all predict's gonna win? Hmm? I don't have a dog in the fight. As you all know, I am a NFL fan. Hey Trevay, you tonight? I'm gonna put a link so you all can join, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. Tell me what's going well in your world today? What is going well? I know it's raining some tonight, and also, um, if I'm not mistaken, I think they said that it was supposed to storm a little bit, but hopefully it won't get bad. I pray traveling mercies be over everyone. Good to know that you're healthy and housed. All right. Here is the link. I also posted it earlier in in our Facebook Teach Me Try Facebook group. So if you all want to join, please feel free. And in the meantime, I'll get started, and I'll also be looking at the chat as well, for any comments that you all might have. Hey, David, I see you. Well, we're talking about um, New Year, New You. And when I was looking into tonight and thinking about tonight, I found that only 9% of people actually accomplish New Year's resolutions. And despite the low success rate, people still do it. Do any of you all still, do you all do that? Do New Year's resolutions? I'm not a New Year's resolutions person, but do you all do New Year's resolutions? Do you all create goals every year? So, and I want to ask, what does New Year? Yeah, I don't either, Trevay. You never have? Oh wow. Who is that they say I never have? Yeah, Trevay, you said you never have? Yeah. Um, and feel free to join on the stream as well. I wanted to be able to stream this on YouTube and Facebook, as well as interact with you all. This is the first, so I'm trying to see how it actually goes tonight, versus doing it on Zoom. But yeah, change happens when you change your statement, changes from one day to day one. I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that. Because if you think about it, there is no, I mean, there's nothing magical that happens on January 1. There's no new moon, no new sun, no new stars. Everything is just the same. It's just the change of a calendar date. So everything is the same for the most part. So, and I guess that's where I want us to kind of go into reinventing our reality. And um, I mean, I assume that people, they want to have a great life, and that's why they set resolutions. But do we really want to have a great life if we are not? And these are just hypothetical questions. You can't answer them as well, but I was this is just some things that I was actually thinking about when I was preparing for tonight. Just wondering, what does that look like to you? What does a great life look like to you? Because everyone, has to determine that for themselves individually. Um, we all have a path to take. We all have our own journey that we have to walk. And as we think about our goals and the plans, even for tomorrow and for the next day and for the next day, where is God in those plans? Where is God in those goals? Do we actually trust him with those? I think sometimes when we're making goals and we're making plans, we don't necessarily trust God in it. Because I believe that when we do trust God in it, then we will hold more to those plans, and we won't be looking to the new year to reinvent those plans again. Just imagine how many people are in the gym right now that probably won't be in the gym 2 months from now. And they probably do it every year. But guess who's happy? Those those gyms. Those gyms are actually happy because they're getting people money every year, day in and day out. So what I found though in accomplishing my goals is that action and execution is a must. And we have to keep moving forward in order to accomplish any of our goals we set. But we have to take one step at a time. And I think that's one thing that we also need to be cognizant of, is just taking one step at a time. Hey, hey. Now, I did put a link in the chat, so feel free to click on that link so you can join the discussion as well. You can come on screen with me. I love to see your smiling faces tonight, because it looks like on YouTube I'm unable to see your names. I can see your comments, but I cannot see your names associated with the comments if you're not logged in. And this is something new that I'm trying out this month to see how it works, just so we can stream it as well, and maybe more people can participate in the discussion. But I don't necessarily want to have a discussion by myself either. But feel free to come as well. But I do have some thoughts though that I have in regards to new you, or new year, new you. I think I've heard some people say new year, new me. Um, you know, okay. So the internet's not allowing me. Okay, I definitely understand. I definitely understand. I definitely appreciate you trying. So how I was thinking about the fact of, us needing action and execution in order for us to accomplish those goals. And that's one thing that I have found is really crucial to be accomplishing my goals. Because in order for us to move forward and to accomplish those goals, we have to take action. Because if we don't do anything, we're just going to stand still. So, and I also realize how we tend to just want what we want when we want it. We live in this microwave society, that where everything is so quick. Even even now, I mean, we want things quicker. We have what is that, the air fryer. I love my air fryer, but instead of using the oven, we have the air fryer because it's quicker. But I think we actually miss the best part when we tend to just want it when we want it. We miss the best part, and it's the process of getting there. It's the process of the lessons and the moments that we learn along the way, in the journey. And I think we gain a greater appreciation for what we've achieved when we work and we have to wait for it. Does anybody agree with that? I think when we were able to work for something, and what's the phrase? Good things come to those who wait. Uh, how true do you think that is, or how valid has that? Have you seen that in your life? If you've been able to wait for anything. Good evening. Good evening. I see people are joining us. Yes, yes, definitely. And feel free to click on the link to join as well on screen. So I want you to think about some of these questions and answer, um, if you have anything, if you have an answer for any of these, or even a comment. You know, how do we break the routine of normacy to accomplish our goals? Because we know that with normacy, we create habits and we create a comfort zone. We create these routines that we're used to day in and day out. So that's why it's so easy for people to create these resolutions, because that's just something that we do every year. That's something that we do. So, but what is the reality of our life? Is it realistic for us to create goals every year? Is it create realistic? And this is really only applies to you, because one thing I've also found too is that just because it works for one person, it doesn't mean it's going to work for someone else. And a yearly resolution might be good for one person. Maybe, the 83% of people who accomplish those goals every year, maybe they're able to just make goals just for the year and not have to do anything throughout the rest of the year. But I guarantee you that they have more than that. They have more than just making those one-time goals. They're actually taking step by step, and they're having a lot more. Um, it is a lot more to their accomplishment than just setting a goal in the beginning of the year. And also think about, how can we push through the discomfort and fear to accomplish our goals? Because when we need to change, when we need to do something different, I was telling my son tonight, because he's struggling in the area of his life, and I told him, I said, you know what? I know you told me, hey, I have a plan. I I'm gonna do this, that, and the other. But from what I see, you have not changed anything that you're doing. So in order, and then you haven't made progress in this particular area. One thing that you will see when you are making a change in your life, you will see progress. Hey, Treve, I'm gonna bring you on. How you
Hello.
doing?
I'm
Hey,
okay. I got a lot of background noise, as you can probably hear.
I, I hear the baby. I hear the baby. I
Yes,
like your hair.
yes. Thank you, thank you.
I was talking about progress and change and how, um, what's the phrase? If you are doing something, if you expect something different or different results, you,
You have to do something different.
yeah, you have to do something different. But it was something about insanity. What is it? The thing about insanity? If
Insanity
you,
is doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
that's it. That's it. Yeah. And I think with change, just like I was telling my son, um, you can't change unless you actually do something different. So I ask you all, what is it that you're doing different this year? Um, are you saying, this is new year, new me, things are going to be different this year? What is it that you're doing differently?
Well, for me, I'm trying to take it slow and take it one day at a time and not try to do so much because I find that it's harder for me to reach my goals when I try to do too much, when I overwhelm myself. It's better for me when I make it something that is attainable. So instead of trying to tackle the whole thing, I'm just taking it one day at a time, one step at a time, one change at a time, and hopefully making it a lifestyle. Um, I saw in another group someone posted that most people think that it takes 21 days to change, but it really takes 68 to make it a lifestyle change. So if I can consistently do something for that long, then hopefully I'll start to see those changes come to pass and last.
Yeah, girl, I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that because I um I think one thing I think about New Year's, it really, even though I don't do New Year's resolutions, it does help me to, kind of like new days. I guess I look at it as a new day, but then it's bigger than a new day. Um, but I think what I've done something similar to you, and that is not overcommitting myself. I tend to, I tend to do a whole lot, and I'm always tired because I'm always doing something. So this year, my word is focus. So I was like, everything that I'm going to do is going to surround that word, and me focusing on what I know God wants me to do. And, and I know that I will be well, when I'm able to do that. And just to give myself some grace when I can't be there for the people that I want to be there for, and I just trust God that He'll take care of those people. I mean, because if I can't be at every place at one time, so I just have to trust God more to be there and to do what I can't do.
Yeah, I agree. I have found myself to be a person who tries to take care of a lot of people who are able-bodied people, and one of the things over the last year that I have embraced is the fact that I'm not responsible for anybody other than the children in my household and the husband that I committed to. Everybody else is a choice. Now that does mean that if I choose to give you my time and choose to invest in you in any type of way, that means I value you, but I am taking the pressure off of being obligated to anybody.
Girl, that's so good. That's so good, and because that's something I'm really dealing with right now. Because I still have that guilt of not being there for people that I really want to be there for. And I'm glad you said that because it is. a matter of priority. And I think a lot of times we're concerned with how other people, what other people think, what other people will perceive us. But then I mean, when it all comes down to it, you probably are a priority to them. So you up here
Exactly.
guilty about being a priority. I mean, for them being a priority, but you probably not even you probably lower on their list than what you try to put them. So, but yeah, that's
Very
part of my
true.
focus for the year.
Hmm.
um, I also I was talking about the 83% of people who accomplish their goals earlier. Those people they have, and this is a statistic that I found. These are people that actually have an accountability partner. So, and let's see, who is this? They said, I made a conscious decision near the end of 2023 to ensure by no means no, and those pulling on me know that they have to accept that. That is so good. That is so good. And that's part of self-care.
It is, and when they said that, it kind of made me think of what I say to my kids. My no was the same no the first time as it is the next few times. So
That's the truth.
so it's like you can ask me over and over again. I don't owe you a reason. I don't owe you a yes. Now if God leads me to do something, that's I owe a yes to God. But to other people, I really don't owe a yes. And like I said, for me, that's a growth area because I was so used to doing what everybody wanted me to do, that I was neglecting myself and even sometimes neglecting the loved ones. Because if you think about it, if I had $100 and I gave everybody $1, regardless of status, then the people that I love most, the people that I'm closest to, don't get the benefit that they should of being closest to me. So I have to reserve the good, the good parts of me mostly for the people who are close to me. So um, it's not to say that people are not valuable to you, but there that word you said before, priority,
Mm,
prioritizing myself, prioritizing my family, prioritizing my relationship with God. We really have to do a better job at um, putting things in its rightful place, whether it be
yeah,
time, money, friendships, anything.
yeah, yeah. And I think it make it easier to say no. When we do have those parties, because even though I call myself a black and white thinker, um, I don't think I've done very well being black and white in that area. It's been very great because I've always said yes to so many different things. So I really appreciate this discussion because that it really, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one out there that has done that. Because especially us as women, because we wear so many different hats, especially if we are working outside of the house. So we're working, we're trying to take care of the home. If we're married, we're trying to take care of our husband, our kids. So it's just, and then a lot of times people in our age group, we have um, parents that are older, and we're starting to take care of them now too. So that's another priority that we have. So but yeah, oh yeah, family can be the worst offenders when accepting things from you. That is so true because they expect certain things, or they expect what they've already always expected or always had. So when it's hard for when you say no, it is more harder for them to accept it.
Yeah, we tend to take for granted those closest to us when those are the ones who are the ones who deserve the best from us. But I wanted to mention that even though you talked about how women wear a lot of hats and carry a lot of roles, men also, have these expectations on them, and they're always expected to be strong and always expected to provide and always expected, all this that society and their families and everything is demanding on all of us. Our demands may look different, but we're all carrying something. We're all carrying some type of responsibility, whether we show up for that or not. There is something tied to us that we're responsible for, and it can be stressful and straining and all of that. So I mean, like you said, women do wear a lot of hats, but I just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge the fact that men, they may not wear as many hats, but there's still levels of expectation for them that can be very heavy, and a lot of times they don't talk about it, or they don't express it, or they don't feel heard when they do talk about it.
Yeah, yeah, that is so true. I appreciate you saying that because I think we do tend to not necessarily forget about the men, but consider we're not men. We don't think about, oh, yeah, they got some stuff they got going on too. And then, of course, we're known as being the multitaskers. Us being able to do everything and be everywhere and handle the household. But yeah, they definitely have that leadership role that they have to carry as well to make sure that we're all good in the process. Um, and I was talking about accountability earlier, and just basically having that support, um, that accountability partner, that support, the encouragement. Who is it that you have in your circle that you can call on for support? Those people that you can call on to to help you accomplish those goals and to hold you accountable for whatever goals that you're trying to accomplish.
I'm trying to let everybody else talk, but I know we're the only ones on camera.
Yeah.
But I think it's important that we be willing to take critique from other people, like, and take constructive feedback and really use it for growth. Because a lot of times we take critique and we're offended by it rather than seeing the person trying to help us.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And that's where a lot of growth comes in at too, when we do have someone that we're saying, hey, this person is my accountability partner. We have to understand, okay, whatever it is they say, or if I'm asking them to be my accountability partner, I'm trusting that they know what's best for me, or they want the best for me. So it's a matter of me being mature enough to handle whatever it is they tell me, whether I like it or not, because they are doing their job if I ask them to be my accountability partner. Uh, and someone said most mothers train their daughters to take on the world, but coddle their boys, and they have to lean, or they have to learn to act responsible. That's true. That's true. We do have a tendency to do that, especially in the Black community. I'm not sure um, why we do it. I know there's a lot of history there of why we do it, um, but especially in a single family dynamic, because I know I've done that with my daughter. I mean, my daughter, yes, she was the first child, but that probably made it worse. The fact that she was first and she was a girl, I put a lot more pressure on her to um, to be who she is today, and I tend to be a little bit more relaxed with my boys. What are you? How are you, Treve, when it comes to that?
I'm a little bit of both, but I think it comes from my own upbringing was a little bit different. I was raised in a two-parent household, and then when I married my husband Jay, he is very much so hands on with the family. He's the one that does the cooking. He helps with homework. We both help with homework. And so in my household, it looks a little different, but there was a time when I was single, and it was that you have to make it happen even if he doesn't show up for you, you know, because most of the time, and I think it goes back historically, to when fathers were snatched from our families, but it also goes back to when fathers chose not to be a part of the families. And, in those cases, women had to raise the household and train up the household and kind of distribute the burden of the household amongst her kids. And I think it tended to fall on the women because it was almost like a defense mechanism, like you can't depend on no man, you know, and that's
Mhm.
unfortunate. But for some people, that's a reality. If we look at the statistics, there's a lot of single mother household. There are some single father households, but the majority are single mother households. And we just learn to um, be strong. We've learned to adapt, and we've learned to survive. I feel like it's a survival mentality more so than a thriving mentality.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree with that. And anybody who's I'm not sure who's that, but that's been commented. I'm sorry, I don't have your name on the on Facebook, but feel free to join the discussion on screen, and you can come on as well, and talk with us live. But and I just listening to you, Trevor, I was thinking about um and how that possibly could have begun with, I think I can imagine in the minds of women or mothers back then, they were thinking to themselves, my daughter has to be strong, because more than likely she's going to have to carry this family by herself. So that's probably what the dynamic was, to where they was like, okay, let me put all my energy here because I don't want her to fail. But then with the boy, he probably just got what was left over as far as energy. And not saying that the mother did not care for her son, but it wasn't. And then, of course, if it was a single parent household, it wasn't a man there that was showing that boy how to be a man or how to take on that role either. And then in turn, it wasn't showing the mother, okay, here's what a man does in the house. So it's just a generational thing that just happened over time. And unless we break that cycle, it's going to continue to happen. And I think that's probably one reason why I'm so passionate about family, even in the co-parenting space, because I know everybody has to have a role. Everybody has to play a role, and the child has to benefit overall. Because the child's gonna grow up. They're gonna have their own family. So they have to see what a family is supposed to look like, what it is that they're supposed to do, what is it that how they're supposed to treat their children, and all that.
I think also coming from a Christian perspective, a lot of times scriptures were misrepresented or misinterpreted by a lot of people, but a lot of times in the African American community, it was more so the father go out and provide and the mother take care of everything else. But honestly, if you read Proverbs 31, woman's description, she didn't just take care of the house alone. She was in the market, but she had a maid. Like, so that alone tells you that one person is not meant to handle it all by themselves.
Mm.
And when God created the woman, he called her to be the helper, meaning, again, this was not meant for man or for woman. It was never meant for us to do all of this alone. And along with the help of the Holy Ghost, we're not supposed to do any of this alone. but yet, like I said, that survival mentality, and not that it's not justified, because like I said, history has shown that it's been needed at times, but sometimes we have to unlearn the programming that we have taken on once we connect with somebody who is able to support us in that way. Like I said, with my husband, thank God for my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. Um, they raised him well, and I can appreciate that. And I always say my son's future wife is going to be a very blessed woman, because I'm trying to raise him in the same way, where he's contributing to the household in the same way. He's washing dishes, he's helping cook, he's helping with the kids, and even my daughter. When she was young, we will be out there raking leaves and picking up sticks and doing all that stuff too. So for me, it's not so much a gender role thing, but it's more so a support of each other. And many hands make the burden light. Like the more we help each other, the less strain and stress it is on one person. But we have to be willing to pitch in, male or female, old or young. We have to be willing, but we also, as parents, we have to create that culture, because for for our culture right now, it just doesn't come naturally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the truth. And I tell you, kudos to Jay, because um, and I think it's more men out there too than we realize that are like Jay, but we don't see them every day. Um,
And a lot of times people take it for granted and they don't speak on it. And that's why I try to make it a point to acknowledge, the men. Like even with my dad was a great provider. He was the one that showed the affection. And you know what I'm saying? So it's happening, but we have to be more intentional about talking about it just as much as we talk about the deadbeat dads.
that's the truth. That's true. And it's the negativity that usually gets the attention. And it's not the positive things that people do that get the attention that's needed. So, and I like that. Just thinking about it, um, how much more we have to say those positive things over and over and over and over and over again, just so people can hear that more. Instead of us saying, well, I didn't know it was men like that. No, you've heard me say it over and over and over. Because if we listen to you at any point in time, anything, you always go bring up Jay. That's one thing I would
And
definitely say. So,
and
so if you know Trevay, and that's I think that's awesome. And I think that
Mhm.
is so neat, and more women need to be shouting out their husbands like that.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
And I think the more we talk about it, the more people will understand that it's a real thing, because a lot of people, they think we do these things and say these things for clout, and it's really not. It's my real life situation. But they haven't experienced it for themselves, so they can't believe that such a thing exists. But the more people who come forward and actually talk about the good things, the more believable it becomes for other people.
yeah, yeah. I definitely believe that. Says you two sound like a well-oiled machine. Keep the oil anointing on your marriage and household. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Absolutely.
Yes, that's God. It's all God. So what resolutions, what goals? I don't like that word resolution. I don't know. I didn't even look up the word resolution, but and I'm a definition person. I didn't even look it up. But what goals do you have for the year? I know you said you didn't really do the goal thing either, but what
I
what do you normally do when the New Year's approaching? What's your routine?
I don't really have a resolution, so to speak, although to me, I understand the term resolution, because to me it means resolving to do something, like you're committed to doing something. And
Mhm.
so really the reason why I don't do New Year's resolutions is because daily I'm trying to improve. And so I
Mhm.
don't like to wait till the first of the year to decide I'm gonna do better. Um, that's just, that's
Oh,
frame.
oh,
Uh-oh.
oh, there you go.
Okay. I said that's never been my thing, because I don't believe that there's a time frame to do the right thing. I think the
Mhm.
moment that you decide to do the right thing is when you start taking action, whether it be a big action or a small action. And so that's why I don't really have a resolution, but my daily goal is to draw closer to God and to reflect him, and his goodness to all mankind, and to love on my family the best way that I can, and to make sure that I am raising and married to a person that's going to come out of this thing better than before. And they will be better because of having known me or seen the God in me.
Awesome. I like that. So that's something that you endeavor to work on every day.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. And I mean, I'm the same way. We cut from the same cloth. I'm a daily goal person. And I think one thing that let's see, I work at improving all year, but Easter and New Year tend to make me reflect more. Okay, yeah, I can definitely see that. Because I was going to mention how I do reflect. That's normally I usually reflect for New Year's, my birthday. That might be but I reflect a lot though. But as far as like, I guess those are like the milestone times or moments, of my life to where I am doing some major reflecting, and I'm looking at, okay, where was I this time next year? I mean last year, and where do I want to be this time next year, and how am I gonna get there? And and that's one thing I do want to kind of go into, because we need specific things that we need to do, or I should say, a plan of action for how we're going to accomplish our goals. How are we going to maintain that consistency, that endurance for sustaining our goals? And you might ask, how is it that me and Treve, we're able to do these things every day? And that's because, one, we set probably SMART goals. And if you've ever heard of SMART goals, it's an acronym: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant or relatable, and timely. So when you're using SMART goals, you're being very specific, and you're measuring. Okay, what is it that I need to? What goal is it? And you're actually laying out the details of that goal. You're saying, okay, how long will it take for me to do this? And I would also suggest using, like if you have a big goal, actually breaking it down into smaller goals. That's where it's easier to do things daily, when you have daily goals. Because if you're trying to save $10,000 for the year, you know, back that up and say, okay, how much, calculate how much do I need to save every day, every week, every month, whatever. And then it's easy for you to measure that, leading up to your goal. And is it relevant? Is it realistic for you to save $10,000? So um and is it timely? Is it achievable? Can you actually accomplish that? So that's definitely one thing that I wanted to mention in regards to how you can actually achieve your goals, or work every day to achieve or work on your goals. Do you have anything, Treve?
No, I mean that's pretty much what I would say as well, is, um, do what you can. Y'all probably have heard me say all you can do is all you can do. And that means putting your best foot forward, but not overwhelming yourself with tasks or with responsibilities or with things that are outside of your control.
Yeah, yeah. Because I like to say it is what it is. Whatever, whatever it is going on in that moment, it is what it is, and it really helps you to give yourself grace because every day is not going to be perfect. Every day is not going to be the same. You might have goals that you need to that you want to achieve for the day, but at the end of the day, one thing I do to help me to feel like I've achieved, because I'm one of those checklist people. So I like to feel at the end of the day I've accomplished something. So at the end of the day, I always think to myself, I usually go through my day and then I say, what is it that I've achieved for today? What have I accomplished for today? And even if it's the smallest thing, even if it's made a phone call to someone that I wanted to make a phone call to, that's something I've achieved for the day. And someone says, the primary thing I do is listen to the Holy Spirit. He orders my step and shows me how to achieve the goals. That is the truth. Ain't nothing like
Amen.
having the Holy Spirit giving you wisdom,
Hmm.
because it's definitely needed. Definitely
Absolutely.
needed. You can't accomplish it without it. Not effectively, that is.
Right.
Let's see. I did mention about the SMART goals, breaking them down to smaller goals. Um, and I also mentioned about having an accountability partner. That's so helpful when you're trying to, especially when you are in business, when you're trying to accomplish something big. Um, it is helpful to, and one thing I found too is helpful for me is when I actually tell someone what God has told me to do. Because I'm not keeping it to myself then. So if you tell somebody that gonna ask you about it, uh, like Eric is my friend, so I call him my male best friend. He's gonna hold me accountable.
Yeah.
If I tell him anything that I tell that God has told me to do, him and my mama and my daddy. I mean, yeah. So yeah,
but
tell
that's
somebody.
key, not just anybody. It has to
Yeah,
be somebody that's going to hold you to it,
yeah,
but someone who's also in tune with the Holy Spirit. They need to know when to let on, push the gas, and when to let off. They need to be in tune with God and you. So make sure you're talking to the right people about what your goals are.
that's the truth. That's the truth. Ain't nothing like having a support system. And then another one I want to mention about learning from setbacks. Because we are going to naturally have setbacks because it is a process in achieving our goals. So we have to have a positive mindset and we have to trust God throughout the process. I think one time, I mean, one thing that I would definitely say about process is, I'm trying to remember who I was talking about. I think I was talking to my daughter, but I was talking about how much we miss in the process and how it's always lessons to be learned, that once we get to the end we're like, oh, I you're just so much more appreciative. This is where I came from. This is or I got here. And then then the next step, God will give you the next step in the process, and then you can apply what you've learned from the last goal to the next goal or the next step you have to take. And then I also think that God can trust us with more too, when He knows that we can go through certain things to get to where He's called us to be. What do you think about that, Treve?
Absolutely. I think that a lot of things that we go through, a lot of things that we achieve, it's more so about the journey to getting there than it is about the end or the destination. Because usually, once you get there, there's still farther to go. Once you achieve your goal, you end up with another goal. So, in my life experience, it has proven that, you know, God is more concerned about how you go through and how you get through and how you get to than he is about the actual manifestation or the actual destination that you're trying to reach. And so I think that's critically important. Um, and we also have to acknowledge the fact that we're not going to achieve everything that we necessarily want to do, in the way that we want to do it. We have to be flexible in knowing that we can't control all things, but we rest in the hands of the one who can. And we can't make the arrogant assumption that everything we do is going to be perfect, because we're human, and once we embrace that, then those minor setbacks and those disappointments won't be so big, because in our weakness God is strong. And so when we embrace our humanity, but we don't allow our humanity to handicap us, then we can start to see progress, and we won't beat up on ourselves when we have to take the long way around, or when we have to redo a step, because messing up is not the end of the world, but it matters how get back on track.
Yes, yes, that's so true. Progress over perfection. And I've definitely had to learn that, because I tend to be a perfectionist, but when you're making progress, you don't have to worry about the perfection part of it, because you know that, just like you said, it's all about the journey. And then it really is all about the position of our heart too. When we know that God has called us to do something, or we have goals. The Bible says, write the vision and make it plain. We've written a vision, or we submitted it to God, and He's allowing us to go through this process of this journey of what we believe He's envisioned us for us to do. But we're we have to be careful about our heart and what position our heart is in the process. Are we allowing Him to use us in the process? Um, and then as He elevates us, what are we doing in those instances too? Can He trust us? And I think a lot of times those tests along the way, you know, is is part of that. You know, um, can He trust us with bigger things?
Yeah, it's definitely a test of our character, a test of our endurance, a test of our trust in Him, and a test of our trust in His timing. Because a lot of times, if it doesn't happen when we want it, how we want it, then we get upset. But God builds our character, and He strengthens our character through our tests and through our trials, and even in relationships with each other, we learn a lot about we learn a lot about the ones that we love by the way that they act towards us during adversity. You know, anybody can be loyal to you when all things are good, and anybody can be loyal to God when all things are good. But the moment that adversity starts to come in, that's when you start to truly see your own self and them. So it's important that we embrace that.
That is the truth. That is the truth. Um, they said, "I'm glad you touched on falling short of your goals. I used to be so hard on myself when I fell short, devastated." Yeah, I feel you. That I definitely feel that. Um, it was one more thing that I wanted to mention. I don't know if you all do vision boards. Do you do vision boards, Trevay?
I I have before, but I don't. I have a lot of things that I put in my prayer journal. So
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's similar, um,
Similar.
but I don't actually do a vision board.
Okay, okay. Does anybody do vision board? I know we have some people in the audience. I have this app. Let's see. You said I'm having a vision board party in 2 weeks. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. I like that. You're gonna have to announce it in the tribe about your vision board party, if it's open. I ain't gonna put you out there like that. If it's open, I'm trying to find. It's an app that I use for because I am a visual person. So, gosh, of course I can't find it. I'm looking for it, and I can't find it because I am looking for it. But anyway, but on this app, isn't that funny how your mind works? When you look for something,
You
when you're
overlook
looking,
it.
yes, I mean, but you can find it any other time. I mean, I look at this thing every day. But anyway, I was gonna tell you all about the app because it is so good. I know I'm looking over it. That just proves I got too many. Oh, it's called Horizons. I'm about to say it proves I got too many apps. Uh, okay. It says it is in my studio, open to the public. Ah, okay, all right. Okay, where your studio at? I don't even know who I'm talking to. But she said it's open to he or she said it's open to the public because your name's not coming up, so that's why I asked. Um, but anyway, I have, and feel free to use this if you all like the idea of having a digital vision board. Oh, Tanisha, what's up, girl? Yes, that's right. She has a studio in Georgia. So if anybody that's in Douglasville, Georgia, you got to make sure you put it in the um in the tribe, Tanisha. So anybody that's in that area, because I do know Consuelas, I know she's in Georgia. I'm not sure exactly where she is in Georgia. And then Crystal, I think she's in Georgia too, but I'm not sure. But maybe they can come through because I think that'll be really good. And that's timely too. Um, but anyway, this Horizons app, it allows you to put different quotes in there, different pictures of the different things that you're believing God for. So it is really cool, and you can specify the name of the vision board. Mine is live up to my true potential. And so, of course, I have in here different sayings that I like, um, and all these things. But I think it's really good to have that visual, whether it's at home or on your phone, something that you can, or in a journal, something that you can look at every day. And even if you journal, I think it's a good practice too to have to look back on. So when you are having those days of discouragement, you can you can look and say, okay, this is where I'm headed. Yeah, today might not be a good day, but I still have this vision in sight. This is still possible for me to have. Um, and you just have to visualize it, because if you don't, then the devil will show you other things in your mind, or he will have you to concentrate on the things that are around you that's not going right. Anything?
And Tiffany, another thing I wanted to add, like I said, I do my prayer journal, and a lot of times I'll reflect on what I've written, but it's not sometimes the thing that I've been praying for does not manifest in the way that I had hoped for or think that it should. But what it helps me to realize is how my prayer life has grown, or it helps me to realize how my desires have begun to align up with God, because it may have been at you know last year or so I may have been praying more for material things, or I may have been praying more for myself than for other people. Like it allows me to see my growth as a person and my growth in my relationship with God. But also, like I said, those manifested prayers when I did pray for something and God did, answer it in a way that I had hoped for. So, I mean, you can look at it all kinds of ways as long as you look at it in a way that facilitates your growth or facilitates appreciation for your growth.
Yeah, that is so good. That is so good. And as you were thinking, when you were talking, I was thinking about how sometimes when we do look back, or as we are going in in pursuit of our goals and our visions, how sometimes they might change. Sometimes it or it might not come out the way we thought it was going to come out, but it came out the best. It came out even better. Because and I think about, us as single women, we that might be believing God. I ain't saying it's me. I'm just saying other single women that might be believing God for a husband. You have this person in your head, you have it written down, exactly what you want, how you want them to be, what you want them to do, and all this, that, how tall, and all this, that, and the other. But I remember seeing something on social media one day, and she was talking about how this is the person that God sent her, and he was completely opposite of what she expected. She said, "Here's my 6'3" man," and he ended up being like 5'5". But she was just talking about how happy she was and how glad she was that she trusted God in the process to bring her who was best for her. So I think sometimes we do have to constantly um, depend on God um, to and trust Him for our desires to be aligned with His will for our lives. Because if it don't, then we'll be constantly trying to pursue what we want and not necessarily what He wants. Well, you have any closing words, Treve, before we go? It has been a really great discussion, and we've had some really good comments along the way too from our audience.
Yes, we have. I don't have anything else to say. I think we have covered a lot of ground, and I know we'll be having other discussions further in the month and the months to come. So I'm just looking forward to it. I appreciate, all the comments that did come in because, they helped me to reflect and to grow. And that's always, my goal is to remain teachable and to learn something from whomever. Everybody has something that I can learn from, in my opinion. And so I appreciate you for, having this platform for us to learn and grow together.
Yes, I definitely appreciate you being a part of it. And that's what the Teach Me Tribe is about. Us all being teachers and all being students, us learning from one another and growing and really, you see, AT&T owes me for tonight. Who is AT&T? Who is AT? What does AT&T owe you? But also I wanted to acknowledge anyone who might have a birthday or anniversary, wedding anniversary this month. I want to say happy birthday ahead of time and happy anniversary ahead of time. And also want to let everybody know that Treve will be coming with Q&A with Treve, her segment on Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So y'all definitely start looking for those that announcement as well. See, I couldn't get on the internet to discuss with you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, we'll definitely we'll be back Monday. Trevea, she'll have, she's our our specialist in relationships and family. So it's gonna be real good. We go get down to the nitty gritty, find out what y'all thinking about for this new year in regards to relationships and family. So I really I'm really looking forward to that discussion. So you all don't forget to tune in next week for that. And other than that, and I know some of y'all have been waiting for these shirts. They coming. The thing for the shirts. I haven't done very good with putting it out there, but I'm gonna do it. And it's so sad because I got the shirts, but I'm gonna do it so y'all get y'all shirts ordered for the Teach Me Tribe. Oh, and also we got a party coming up. We got a party coming up. our birthday party is coming up in March, so y'all will be hearing more about that. So, and it's gonna be in person. We're gonna have it in person, so it's gonna be fun. So, just give y'all a heads up about that. So, but that's all I have for tonight. I thank everyone for joining. Thank you, Treve, for coming on. And let me see your beautiful face tonight. And I got to hear the babies in the background.
Yeah,
Someone
they
said,
always
put it
like to
on your
make their
daily
presence
list.
known.
I know, right? You got me there. Who is that? Who is that? Yeah, you got me. You got me. All right. Well, thank y'all.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night.